In this lesson, we'll take a look at another way to compress highlights and build volume to make them feel less thin. Now, as we always do, Option or Alt and S to add our second node. And let's add our ARRI Alexa log C2 Rec 709 lookup table. Now, the issue that I have right now is that the highlights feel a little bit sharp and they don't really blend well into the midtones. So the first thing I'm going to do is I make an exposure adjustment. We'll put the exposure down somewhere around 21 to 21.5. Even that is perfectly fine right there. Now the next thing we want to do is we compress our gain just a little bit. Now to do this, because we are talking about the highlights, we're going to do this inside of a key. So I'm going to select the first node and I'm going to head to my qualifier, and I'm not going to be using the eyedropper, and I'm not actually even going to be using a hue or saturation value, because keep in mind we want to isolate the highlights, so it's really luminance that we're adjusting, and because we are talking about the highlights, we're going to want to put the low value somewhere around, I don't know, somewhere around 60. Now by doing this, this is isolating the highlights. You can basically see highlights, midtones, shadows. And obviously the whole point is we want to have it roll from the highlights to the midtones. Now the issue I have now is that if I isolate this node, you'll see hard fall off, sharp edges. So what we want to do is soften them up a lot. Let's put this somewhere around, I don't know, let's sort of split the difference of what the low is. Let's put this somewhere around 30. All right. Okay, perfect. Let's turn the highlight off there. And what we now want to do is, like I said before, we're going to compress with gain inside of the key. And what this is going to do is give us a more graphic feeling to the image by simply lowering the highlights by utilizing the gain. And what we're going to do is just grab the gain and put it down somewhere around, I don't know, 0.9, 0.88 is probably fine. Even, yeah, I think that's pretty good right there. What I'm now going to do is push some lift into the whites to make them bolder. All I'm going to do is grab the lift value. Let's bring that up to 0.3, right about there. And you'll see what we had before. And what we have now is just a lot smoother image. We've got some really nice softness in there with thick blacks and a very nice roll-off. Now, the only catch is I don't want to lose too much detail in those midtones. So what we're going to do is hit Option or Alt and S to add a node in between the node we were just working on and our LUT node. And we're just going to jump over here to adjust the MD, or the midtone detail. I'm just going to take this value. I'm just going to drag it up somewhere around 50. I think it's probably pretty good. And take a look at what we now have if I turn that on and turn it off. Look at all the detail that we get back to really just take this image and finish it off in the right direction.